Oh, you're back. How are you doing? Yeah, I was just. What's this? Yeah. Well, that's my new safety equipment. It was brought to my attention that in my last video, I was running my weird doohickey motor thing with the wire wheel on it. Yeah. Don't stop showing them. You're not supposed to see the mess. This is a clean shop. Clean. Anyways, it was brought to my attention that last time I was working that wire wheel thing, I was not wearing the proper safety equipment. So I got this thing. Will it work? Maybe. There's a like 97% chance it'll still mess me up. But anyways, so today we're going to go cut. Well, yes, we're going to work on cutting on the tile saw and running this beast. And then it turns out there's going to be a third video that is going to be hand sanding over there. Stop! Don't show them. You're supposed to be focusing on this, not the messy workshop. Whew. Okay, so yeah, so hopefully you can sit through the cringe and enjoy yourselves. We'll see you. We'll see you on the other side. I messed up a bit. We cut the cup and messed it up. So I'm going to be showing you how to do it on this bottle. So yeah, let's set that to the side. We'll come back to you in a second. Okay, so what we're going to do is we have this tile saw. This I just picked up at my local hardware store. It's about $200-ish. Not cheap, but not too expensive. You know, it's a very nice machine if you're going to be doing a lot of cutting. You can get something like this. This is a demon, but it will do the same thing. Ish. Just a lot cheaper and not as big. So you can get either big guy, little guy. We're going to be using the big guy today. He's a lot easier to use. So this is water cooled, which means that, well, first of all, let's show you the blade a bit. Okay, so this is the blade that we're going to be using. It is pretty much sandpaper that spins way too fast. And then we have a reserve of water down here that gets pumped up and fed directly onto the blade. And then what that does is it cools the bottle, make sure that it doesn't get too hot because it constantly has cold water going on it. And it also means that any dust created by the sandpaper does not escape. It instantly gets trapped in water and fed down into the bed. So we don't have to worry about any dust masks or anything like that right now. Glass dust is highly dangerous, but this takes care of that for us. The biggest thing you have to worry about is hearing protection. I have earplugs here, so I'll put those in once we get ready to start. Yeah, I think that's about it. So let's get cutting. Okay, so we're at the saw. The first thing we have to do is set up the fence. This part right here is the fence. This section here makes it so the bottle stays square with the blade. And this controls the height of the bottle. The first thing you have to do is figure out where you want the lip of your bottle to be. With a standard beer bottle like this one, tends to be right after it starts to flare out. With a bigger beer bottle like this, one of the big ones, you do it a little bit further down. Just because a cup that size would be huge, so you kind of cut it a little lower. That turns it into a semi-normal size cup. So this one was cut at 5 inches. This one here I'm cutting at about 4 3/4 inches. Math. Then, so we've figured out where we want it. We've added about a 16th. Did I mention the whole 16th thing? I did? Okay, good. Can't tell if I'm tired or hyper. So hopefully this turns out well. Okay, so we have the bottle all set up. It's a little bit larger than I want it, so I have room to sand away any chips and imperfections that happens. There is, when you cut the bottle, okay. So this blade, like I mentioned before, is sandpaper, pretty much. So when you start a cut, I'm gonna lock that down. When you start a cut, you want to make sure that you go slow, so that it can get so it can start scratching up the surface, get something for the sandpaper to grab onto. You can't just start cutting. You have to kind of go into it slow, let it start biting. After it's started, then you can cruise through it a little bit faster. You don't have to be super afraid. You kind of learn out the speeds that you can go after breaking a bunch of bottles. After that point, you kind of hone in how fast you can go. So it's super slow to get it started. Cut through at a decent speed. Closer to the end, you want to slow down, because then all it's supporting the weight of this is a little bit of glass over here. So you want to go slow so you're not putting any unnecessary stress or anything on this side, and just eat away at that until it finally gives way. And then you hope that it turns out decently nice. So I'm going to put in my other earplug and get this cut. See if I can get this in. Oh, there we go. Alright, we have power, everything's on. Alright, so that came out pretty nice. This is a good example on why you give yourself some extra room. Because beer bottles I've found that they are very thin compared to some other bottles. So you want to make sure that you give yourself enough room for something like this to happen. Another thing to keep in mind is you either want to wear some kind of gloves or have a bucket like I have down here handy, because my hands get some glass on them. I don't know if you can tell, but that finger has some glass chunks, stuff like that. So having some way to safely clean off your hands, like if I were to rub my hands together, I would get glass splinters. It's not fun. I can promise you, I've gone through it many times. Take the extra safety precautions and just try to avoid it at all costs. So now that our hands are clean, we got the bottle cut. We're going to move to the sander that we have right here. There's a light in the way. Ooh, who is she? She's got a whole camera set up. There we go. You gonna stay up? That's gonna fall over. I can guarantee that. But we'll deal with it once we get there. There we go. Okay, so with this, this is a rock sander. This is the actual sandpaper part of it. It's got a magnet on the bottom that sticks to the steel plate. This exact model I don't think you can get anymore. I got this from my grandpa. But I've seen similar newer versions to this. You don't even need anything this fancy. You can use a Dremel, or there's even like smaller versions of something like this for jewelry making that I would assume would work pretty nice. I've never tried them, but with this, I have water that feeds the sandpaper, which also means that this is water cooled, so we don't have to worry about glass dust. One thing that you do have to keep in mind though is when you're sanding, we're going to be sanding like this, where we turn it upside down, set it on the sandpaper, and press down on the top. And no matter how hard you try to keep the lip of the bottle flat, it's not going to stay flat if you just push on the top. So there's a couple of ways to ensure the lip being flat, or the whole face of the bottle being flat. You can either hold it, set it down, and press on top for 2 or 3 seconds. Turn it, press down for 2-3 seconds, and keep doing that until you've sanded it all the way down. Or you can do what I do, and that is hold it, press, and keep turning. With constant pressure on top and constant turning. So we're going to get this turned on and see how long this takes. Ready. Stop it for a second. You guys can see how this is working. So you can see it doesn't take very long. That is where the initial chip was taken out, and it has almost completely been sanded out. So we're going to keep going a little bit further and get that sanded out. So now that chip is completely sanded out. I don't know if the camera can see the edge. Can it see it all right? A little bit. Well, hopefully you guys can see that it is smoother, but now we have a square edge. And that is not very comfortable to drink with. So what we're going to do next is we're going to come in at an angle and start twisting and bringing the edge pretty much from an edge that looks like this to putting another angle in there so it's a little softer, and then we're going to come in with the Dremel and completely round that out so it's a cup. This is a complicated way to get a cup. Why don't we just go to the store and get one? That'd be too easy. Okay, another thing that I forgot to mention, geez, there's too much information for is back when I was spinning it, you want to make sure that this hand never really lets go. You want to kind of twist your hand around it like that. I've had it where I go to release and grab, and then the sandpaper catches and it flies out and it shattered against the wall. And then I had to completely restart. So if you're doing it like this, make sure that you have constant hold on the cup. Yeah. Now we can get back to where we are. Where are we? Who am I? Who are you? What are we doing here? Oh, goodness. Okay, so we're going to get to rounding the edge. And make sure that you don't go too far. And don't try to do it all in one pass. You can do a little bit, reset, do a little bit more. we're just gonna knock down that edge a little bit. Why do tools have to be so picky? Getting water in the face. We'll survive. We will survive. Let's put that back on. Okay. Okay, so now the lip is ready to take to the Dremel. We're going to have to cut to that because I have to set all that up. So we'll see you then. Whew. Whoa! That was a lot of information. It hurt my brain. I was the one giving it. Anyway, so that's the end of the video for today. Do as all good memers will tell you to do. First, put the cup down so you don't break it, because that's a lot of work. And you ready? You just punch that dislike button in the face and kick the unsubscribe button, because why not? Just why not?